In today's episode, we're going to talk about how to stay healthy. If you have a desk job, now, some of you might say, well, not all desk jobs are the same. Well, I get it. If you work in a warehouse and you re-sitting at a desk and you re-surrounded by people, that's different than being a doctor in a hospital and sitting at your desk. Because, the biggest problem that I see with people who have desk jobs is that they tend to be very sedentary. They sit all day long and they don't get any exercise. And so their risk for cardiovascular disease goes up. Their risk for diabetes goes up. And if you're ordering a sandwich, make sure that you get a sandwich on a low-carb bread. That will also help stimulate digestive juices and help you digest the food and absorb nutrients and also help lower your blood sugars. Now, if you're working at a desk job, you need to be careful about alcohol. The best thing you can do to boost your immune system is to eat nutrient-dense foods. What are nutrient-dense foods? Well, you could have kale, arugula, broccoli, salad greens. You can have grass-fed beef, organic pork, organic chicken. If you eat unhealthy foods, your immune system's going to suffer. So make sure you eat nutrient-dense foods, okay? And I forgot to mention earlier, but another supplement that I would recommend is vitamin D3. 20,000 IU every single day, okay? That will help you with allergies, that will help your immune system, that will help prevent you from getting sick. And that's because most people don't get enough sun exposure. And vitamin D3 is a hormone made in your skin when you re-expose to the UVB rays from the sun. So make sure you get a lot of vitamin D3. Drinking alcohol can definitely cause problems. It lowers your immune system. It creates inflammation. So I would avoid that as much as possible. If you have a desk job and you get sick, well, you have two options. One option is to go into work and continue working. Now, if you work in a hospital and you're working in infectious disease or something like that, you have a higher risk of getting exposed to something, and you may need to take precautions. But if it's something like the flu or a cold, I wouldn't worry about that. You just need to take precautions and protect yourself. The other option is to stay home and stay in bed and rest. Rest is very important to speed recovery. And also during that time, start taking elderberry. Elderberry can help shorten the duration of the flu by several days. It's a great immune booster, so I would highly recommend that. Also, if you have the flu, I would recommend you start taking zinc. Okay, in the form of zinc citrate, 30 milligrams twice per day. And that will help you recover faster as well. And if it's a bacterial infection, then you're going to need to take an antibiotic. Now, I don't recommend taking antibiotics unless you have a bacterial infection. So you need to make sure that you have an actual diagnosis before you start taking an antibiotic. And also, I recommend that you use a nasal irrigation. If you have a sinus infection, the saline solution, it's going to help clean out those sinuses and help heal those sinuses quicker. So you can get a sandwich on a lettuce wrap, or you can get a sandwich on a low-carb bread, like a seeded whole grain bread or a seeded whole wheat bread or something like that. Okay, if you have a desk job, you may be under a lot of stress. You may have a boss that's breathing down your neck all the time. You may have coworkers that are creating drama. Whatever the case is, you need to find ways to decrease your stress because stress is harmful to your health. Okay, so one way to do that is to implement some deep breathing techniques. So you can simply close your eyes, breathe deeply through your nose, fill up your lungs. Let them expand in all directions, and then breathe out through pursed lips, and do that over and over and over again. Another thing you can do to reduce stress is to meditate, and I like to use a meditation app. Now, I've talked about that before on the podcast. I think it's a wonderful tool. Not only can it help you meditate, but it can also help you sleep better. It can also help you focus and concentrate better. So it's a great tool. I use it all the time. Another way to reduce stress is to get outside and go for a walk, a hike, a bike ride, swim. Do whatever you can do to decrease that stress. And the other thing you can do is start lifting weights or doing some sort of a resistance training. So you could do that at home, or you could do that at the gym. But resistance training can help reduce stress. And it can also help you increase muscle mass, which will help you build up your immune system. And then you can also use supplements to help reduce stress. So things like magnesium, vitamin B1, vitamin B6, there's a whole bunch of different ones. There's adaptogens, things like that. So I would look at using supplements to help reduce stress as well. Another thing I would recommend is that you drink half of your water with lemon juice in it, okay, before each meal. That will stimulate digestive enzymes and help you digest that food and absorb nutrients from that food. Their risk for obesity goes up, and so one way to combat that is to get up out of your chair at least once an hour. So if you sit down at your desk at 8 a.m., you should be getting up at 9 a.m. and just standing up for a little bit, maybe stretching or walking around your office, and then again at 10 a.m., 11 a.m. When you go to lunch, that's great because you can walk outside for a little bit. But if you have a sit-down job and you QUNT, really leave the office, then just stand up and walk around your office for a few minutes, and then repeat that over and over and over again. Okay, another thing that I would recommend if you at a desk job is make sure you have a good ergonomic chair. Okay, I cannot tell you how many people come into my office with neck pain or back pain, and they sitting in these horrible chairs all day long. And so if you have to spend your own money to get a good ergonomic chair, do it, because that will save you a lot of grief down the road. Now, if your company won't allow you to spend your own money on a chair, or they won't pay for a good ergonomic chair, then go online and watch some videos on how to make an office chair more ergonomic, because there are some simple, inexpensive things you can do to make that happen. And then that's different than sitting at home on your computer doing your desk job. So what type of foods should you eat if you have a desk job? Well, first of all, make sure you eat a healthy keto and you're eating a low-carb diet, because that can help you lose weight. That can help you lower your blood sugars and insulin levels, and that can help you produce more energy. Because sometimes people complain about feeling tired and fatigued when they at a desk job, and a big reason for that is they eating too many carbs. So you need to eat healthy fats. You need to eat things like avocado, broccoli, spinach, beef, chicken, pork, salmon. Those types of things are good. But if you're going to snack, okay, you need to make sure that you're snacking on the right things. Don't snack on cookies and donuts and sodas. That will just sabotage all your efforts. So what I recommend is you snack on things like nuts. Maybe you can have some pork rinds. You can have some cheese. You can have pepperoni sticks. Those types of things will help you maintain your blood sugar levels, and they help you feel full. But make sure that you keep the carbs low. So there's many different varieties of a desk job, but these principles can help you no matter what kind of desk job that you have. So let's jump right into it. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the difference between just being sedentary or having a desk job and actually being stuck in a toxic environment. So if you work in a hospital, which I used to do, and you work in a place where they use lots of harsh chemicals, like I remember when I was working in the hospital, we had so many different disinfectants and chemicals. We had lead in the walls because we were an old building. You know, you're getting exposed to all these things. There's the mold in the air. So what can you do to protect yourself? Well, number one, if you're worried about, say, something like mold, Make sure that you get your air ducts cleaned regularly. I would recommend at least once per year. Make sure that you have HEPA filter masks. If you're concerned about that, if you have chemical sensitivities, look at getting an air purifier with a HEPA filter in your office, especially if you don't have enough space in your car to put one in your car. The next thing I want to talk about is if you have allergies. All right, well, there's a couple things you can do. You can start taking over-the-counter allergy medicines, but those come with side effects. And so if you want a more natural approach to this, I would recommend using nasal irrigation. I use a nasal irrigation with my patients all the time to help them with their allergies. So it reduces inflammation. It helps to clear out the mucus. It helps to prevent ear infections. And here's why I like it better than just using a saline solution in your nose. When you do a nasal irrigation, you're actually getting a full rinse of the sinuses, and so you're getting a lot more benefit from it. In fact, I think it's much better than just putting the saline solution in your nose and letting it drain out. All right, the next thing that I want to talk about is just general health while you reworking a desk job. All right, the next thing I want to talk about is food. Now, if you're eating in a restaurant and you go out to lunch, I would recommend that you always order something grilled instead of something fried. Another thing that I would recommend is that you take apple cider vinegar before each meal. So maybe 1 tablespoon in a glass of water. The next thing I want to talk about is stress. Now, since we're talking about the immune system, I wanted to mention a very important point. The last thing I want to talk about is what you should do if you get sick. Now, if you haven't seen my video on how to boost your immune system, I put that up right here. Check it out.